Thanks for tuning into the BoshNRoll channel. Liking the video and subscribing to the channel are free and easy for you, and they help me out a lot. If you want to go further with your support, Patreon and YouTube membership offer access to the BoshNRoll Discord community, early access to lists, written content, things like that. You can have me play your deck on the channel, and the highest tiers come with individual coaching sessions. If you use YouTube membership, you also get sweet badges and emotes integrated here into YouTube. You can support the channel while you shop at tcgplayer.com by using my affiliate link in the video description, and you can play any deck anytime by using a cardhoarder.com loan account on Magic Online. If you want to wear your support, check out the merch store. And of course, thanks for being here. Now let's go play some Magic. Welcome to another BoshNRoll video. Today at the request of Patreon subscriber Tom, I am playing a control deck in Modern. This was a dealer's choice. Tom told me, pick a control deck in the Modern format and play that, with no additional instructions. What I did was go on MTG Goldfish and look at the Modern metagame, and I picked the most popular control deck. There might be some debate on that because there is a black-white blink deck that one could argue is a control deck that's more popular than Azorius Control, but I'm going to go with this, make sure that nobody's going to argue with me that this is definitely a control deck and not a tempo deck or mid-range deck or Dead Guy Ale or whatever you want to say. Nobody can debate that this is a control deck. Another point of debate, I would consider this Azorius Control just due to the way that this deck is trying to play the game. However, there are 2 Fire Ices in the deck and 1 Steam Vents and 1 Rockrin Triumph to cast the fire side and to get Prismatic Ending up to 3. So we're technically in Jeskai. I know someone in the comments would be mad if I called this Azorius Control, but as far as game plan goes, Azorius Control tends to try to answer everything and then win with Teferi sort of stuff at the top end. Jeskai Control has like Lightning Bolt, maybe Lightning Helix, Snapcaster Mage. It's sort of like a glorified fancy burn deck. But technically, it's Jeskai. We're going to call it Jeskai. But if I call it Azorius throughout the league, deal with it. I don't know what to tell you. This is the classic control deck. We got Counterspell. We got Counterspell that also draws cards. We got Planeswalkers, Teferi, and other Teferi. And hot off the presses, the Wandering Emperor. She's making a name for herself throughout multiple formats. I saw her played at the Alchemy and Historic Pro Tour recently. I've been playing around with her in Legacy. I am sure she's good in Modern too. Very excited to try this card in the main deck. For Solitude, this is just the card that Blue White Control wanted, and Modern Horizons 2 delivered it. Love a Solitude. There is 1 Chalice of the Void in the main, and another one in the sideboard. I like Chalice of the Void as a tool instead of a plan, because Prismatic Ending can answer this thing out of a lot of decks these days, but sometimes you want it. Like against any of the Cascade decks, like Rhinos or Living End, Chalice on 0 is a big hurdle. If you get paired against Death Shadow or Burn, Chalice on 1 is nice, but sometimes you're paired against Omnath and Chalice sucks. So I like that it's a thing that you can dig for in the mid game. You can go 1-for-1 with Counterspell and your removal early on and then get this blank for 1 when you draw your Chalice later. And another one you can board in for the matchups where you really want it. I love that Spreading Seas is just a main deck card in Blue-White Control these days. This is completely stock at this point. Spreading Seas can mana screw greedy Grixis or 4-color decks by turning their dual land into just an island. This also straight up destroys Urza Saga, just a 2-mana cantripping Stone Rain against Urza Saga, because it turns Urza Saga into a island saga that has lore counters on it equal to or greater than the number of chapters it has, and islands don't have chapters, so even if it has 0 lore counters, it dies immediately. Same interaction that Blood Moon has or Alpine Moon. I don't think this is new or surprising at this point to people who play Modern or Legacy, but Spreading Seas is another piece of that camp, and this card just cycles. Even when it's bad, you can just pay 2 mana, draw a card. Great tech, love this card. This list does have sort of the sampler platter of ways to interact or win. 1 Wandering Emperor, 1 Memory Deluge, 1 Cryptic Command, 2 Big Teferi, 1 Shark Typhoon, 1 Celestial Colonnade. That's what we're doing here. Think Twice is not a card that I have played myself in Modern Control in a very long time. This feels like ancient technology, but it seems like it's back. It's cool that you can leave up Counterspell, and if you don't have to Counterspell, you can draw a card. Just leaving mana unspent in a control deck frequently feels bad. I like the forward velocity of Think Twice. Really cool. Big grindy control is usually not where I want to be in Modern. I like being more proactive. I like Thoughtseize decks. I like attacking with Ragavan. That's sort of more my style in the Modern format, which is completely contrary to my style in the Legacy format. That may surprise you to learn if you follow my content, that I don't love control decks. I feel like the Modern format is too fast, too diverse, hits too hard for decks like this to be a safe choice all the time. Like, you really need to know what you want to beat and tune your deck for it. You can't just play stock blue-white. There's like not a perfect 75 that's going to beat everything. And that's healthy for Magic. There really shouldn't be. But as far as picking up a deck, jumping into a league goes, I would rather be doing something proactive than reactive. But that's not the task today. I am going to play this reactive control deck as well as I can. Let's jump into this league. I'm on the draw in round 1. I have revealed my companion. I forgot to mention this is a Kaheera deck. Kaheera and Yorion seem to be the split between the blue-white control decks in Modern. I'm not a super expert on the archetype, but I've seen both. The only creatures in the deck are Solitudes, which are elementals, so you get this thing. Yikes, no lands here. We're going to send this. All I want to do in my control decks is hit land drops, and the deck plays 24 lands, and I'm going to have to mull to 5 looking for lands here. I imagine, I don't know, I feel like Wafo would keep this hand. I'm on the draw. I have Spreading Seas and Ice to push forward if I spike a land. There's 23 lands out of the 53 cards in my deck, slightly less than a coin flip. I'm going to mulligan one more time. Jesus. Well, it got worse. Okay. Here we are. Solitude, Supreme Verdict, and Think Twice go to the bottom. Ugh. That's not where you want to be with your 24 land deck, just mulling to 4 because you can't find a land. In some sort of Arid Mesa strategy. Oh, good. It's hammer time. Mem Knight. Yeah, there's no Luris in the format anymore, so you don't get those tip-offs that it might be hammer time. A Cryptic Command. Yeah, that's definitely a card I'm interested in. I might just die this turn. It's possible. I will represent removal as best I can. Esper Sentinel. Powerful card. Yep, there's that. Oh, if I draw a Prismatic Ending, I can take out the Memnite without letting them draw a card. And just hope that their last card is bad. I'm going to fetch the Triome and die. Cool. Maybe that 5-card hand with basic planes was the right one. I did mulligan past a lot of Solitudes and Prismatic Endings looking for lands. Disappointing, but okay. That's Magic. Dress Down is good here. They are a Saga deck. Chalice is good. Supreme Verdict's good. Spell Pierce is good. Fracturing Gust is good. Kind of awkward with Chalice of the Void in the deck, but I mean, if I resolve this card, I think the game ends. What 5 cards do I cut? Oh, Shark Typhoon is also on the maybe pile. Just being able to cycle a blocker into play and draw a card, I don't hate. This is where format knowledge with this type of deck matters a lot, because am I supposed to just cut all my big clunky card advantage stuff in favor of being alive into the mid game? Do I cut like Counterspell and play to the board? Think Twice looks like dead air to me, but do I need that to keep my velocity moving forward? I feel like Counterspell is good eventually and bad early, because they're going to be on board way before you have 2 mana. I guess on the play, it's a little different, but still playing to the board seems like a reasonable decision to make. Maybe I should cut the Think Twice's, leave the Counterspells in game 1, or when I'm on the play, not in game 1. Verdict, Dress Down. The Teferi Hero is how you turn the corner quickly. I think I want a Teferi Hero back in the deck. Like, stabilizing the board and then just dying because you're not doing anything is a problem when you over sideboard with decks like this. The companion is revealed, and I have 2 lands and some spells in my hand. We're keeping this one. Gonna fetch the Triome to start the game off, and then I can Ending if they go creature mode. I can Seize if they go Saga mode. I can end that without them drawing a card. Triome. Otawara, so sick that it's just a freaking land when you don't need it to be a spell. We'll pay the troll toll and get you out of here. All right, no lands in my hand, but I have a lot of interaction. Garda's Aid, okay, that's a good one. Memnite, okay. I can end the Memnite. Oh yes, through a land, that's good news. Do I want to end Memnite? I think that's better than holding up Counterspell. So I can Counterspell a hammer. If they go land, hammer, 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 I'm dead. But if they have less than that, I'm good. I can take 11 once. Okay, they're just on chip in for 1, play around Counterspell mode. Okay, here we go. This is the blue version of the deck, though. But now I can Prismatic Ending Memnite. Am I more worried about Sigarda's Aid? Probably should be. Okay, I'm going to go after Memnite, because even if they have Hammer, it doesn't matter. Like, you need a creature in play for Sigarda's Aid to do stuff. But if I go after Sigarda's Aid and they go Hammer, Hammer in response, then I'm kind of down and behind. But if I remove their only creature, I can Counterspell the next creature, and then Aid doesn't matter so much. Okay, Memnite's gone. Lion's Sash has Flash with Sigarda's Aid in play. So there is a creature they can play at instant speed. The Reality Chip, that also does that. I'm just going to counter this card. Not interested. Nope, no thanks. They would need like Ginger Brute Hammer to punish me tapping out here. The second Sigarda's Aid's not what you're looking for. Okay, cool. Starting to push forward here. Spreading Seas is a little awkward. They could have Mystical Dispute or Spell Pierce, neither of which are cards I really want to play against. I'm going to seize the Plains, and I could also seize the Fountain. I don't think I want to do that, though. So, yeah, okay. They haven't made a land drop and don't have any white mana if this resolves. And if they have Mystical Dispute, they might have to use it here. Blacksmith skill, target permanent gains hexproof and indestructible if it's an artifact. Okay. So they had to use Blacksmith skill to keep their land from becoming the wrong color. Let's see. All right, I'm probably losing Teferi here, would be my guess. Magic Ending. I could pop Kaheera into my hand. Yeah, I don't think I care about ending a Sigarda's Aid now that they have 2 of them. Now they're playing lands, which tells me that that's what they drew this turn, because they missed several land drops and they hit 2 in a row. I'm going to get a Hallowed Fountain here because I need double white, and that doesn't fetch basic plains. Here is Kaheera. Let's start winning this game. Esper Sentinel. Okay. Okay, I can Prismatic Ending this thing, even if they pile on a bunch of... I am going to shock this in to make sure I have as much mana as possible. Prismatic Ending. I'll pay the extra 1. All right, it's just gone. Cool. Didn't need to shock that in, it turns out, but I'm holding double Dress Down. I can cantrip with one of them if I need to. Or Steel Paladin. Whenever an equipment enters the battlefield under control. Okay, so I can let that resolve and then Dress Down in response to an equipment if I don't want them to draw cards. Get fucked. Okay. Attack with Kaheera. I will definitely offer this trade. Okay, Pure Steel Pally is in play. They know about the Dress Downs in my hand. They don't know about the Solitude. Saga was their draw for the turn. Would have been in play already. Otherwise. If they have been sandbagging a hammer, they could just cash it in to gain 12 life here. I think I'm okay with that. Solitude, just snap resolved. I think they're F6'd. What's in their hand that is so bad right now? Okay, and Kaheera buffs the Solitude, so it's +1/+1 and Vigilance on that thing. Big money. Now my hand is Counterspell and double Dress Down. Looking pretty good here with them dead on board. Yeah, I think I just want to dress this down. Found Counterspell. I don't think I need to Counterspell this also. I think it would have been like pretty free to do, but yeah, maybe I'm just supposed to push there. Don't know what I'm scared of. Never punished. I have 2 lethal attackers right now. Here they come. Because fire can go upstairs. Okay, I can steal the construct. I can just dress down. Then Solitude gets smaller. It's all good. It still does what it needs to. These are still 3 power creatures. I can still fire them for 2. At 2, and I'm just going to fire them. There might be some world where I'm supposed to hide this information, like maybe they won't play around fire if they don't see it. But I just want to end this game before Saga pops and Sigarda's Aids in play, and there's a lot of variables coming in, and they've had those 2 cards in their hand for so long. Don't know what they are. On the draw now. Yeah, Counterspell felt good. Like with the early removal, you get to a point where Counterspell is good, even though Counterspell isn't good in the early turns all the time, so I'm sold. Talk myself into it. Don't think my plan is changing here. Just going back in. Oh, this one's tricky. If they just blaze out on me, I am in trouble. I don't have red mana. I don't have an island. Chalice on 1 is big, but I'm on the draw. I've kept. Let's see how it goes. Oh, the Shrine. Okay. If they lead on Thoughtseize, I'm actually pretty happy about it. All right, that's not a Thoughtseize. Okay. Do I play Chalice on 0 if it gives them a card? Probably not. I could play Chalice on 0 off Mystic Gate and pay the 1. And then I could play Chalice on 1 off Mystic Gate next turn. I think I'm actually doing that. There are Memnites and Ornithopters in their deck. This should tell them that I have 2 Chalices, because obviously I'm not just going to waste this card on 0 if I can do it on 1 next turn. I hope that matters. We'll find out soon. Hammer is simply in play. Yeah, they're playing because they recognize that I'm representing 2 Chalices. Well played. Smart. Also, this line I took kind of committed to finding another colored mana source sooner than later. They are going to get a card off this, but Chalice on 1 is a big deal. Cannot pay. Can't afford it. Okay, Chalice on 0 and 1. It'd feel a lot better if this hand could produce white mana next turn. I've seen Solitude, so I can never, like, F6 completely. Putting this hammer into play also indicates Pure Steel Paladin. Imagine that. They're 1 short of Metalcraft currently, and they can't cast another 0 or 1-drop artifact. This is where the Chalice on 0 and 1 start to pay out. All right, deck, it's time for you to give me an untapped source of colored mana, please. Oof. But Solitude I'm not mad about. Castle Vantress tapped. And then I guess I can wait. Yeah, I'm not really in a rush here. And I have to decide if I want to pitch my Emperor or a Prismatic Ending. Because if I pitch Emperor, I'm out of threats. If I pitch Ending, I'm out of answers. But Emperor is also an answer, kinda. I could also just take 3 and cast Prismatic Ending next turn. That sounds reasonable. Okay, deck. Keep it coming. Lands. All right. I'm not even mad that that one's tapped. Okay, blue-white. Prismatic Ending for X equals 1. And I am going to pay the toll on Esper Sentinel. Get rid of Pure Steel Pally. Okay. Engine offline. They don't have any blue mana over there, and they are a 3-color deck. I wonder how many blue cards are in their hand right now. Stoneforge Mystic. That's a little scary. It's awkward that Spreading Seas might turn on their hand. Nettle Cyst. That's a powerful card. Slamming it into play right now. Well done. And Stoneforge Mystic can put additional weapons into play through my chalices, if I think that matters. Oh, that's the draw. Yeah, they can have a card on the way out on this one. Get rid of them. They have 4 cards in their hand. I hope they all cost 0 or 1. Blade Plains. Still no blue cards over there, or no blue lands. They might have blue cards. I hope they do. And yeah, I'm just going to chill on Wandering Emperor. Girl has Flash. Inkmoth Nexus. Okay, that's kind of a threat. Here comes the queen. Create a samurai. Counterspell. Okay. I'm gonna make another samurai, or I'm gonna make another samurai, and I'm gonna attack with a 2/2. And I think I'm gonna Spreading Seas the Inkmoth Nexus, even though this might turn on cards in their hand. I think them not having Inkmoth Nexus is more important. And it cantripped me into mana number 5 for Solitude and red mana for Fire Ice. Okay, now we're cooking. See how many blue cards just unload on me here. Okay, answer 0. Just a reality chip with nothing to connect to and 2 1-drops. Love to see it. On to the next round. I'm on the play in round 2. I'm going to keep this hand. Look at all these nice lands that we get. So exciting. All 3 colors. Got a 2-mana cantrip spell. Into Teferi. Oh, sign me up for this. Colonnade is the one that enters the battlefield tapped all the time. Gonna go with that. Oh, we're doing this again. All right. Ottawa is interesting. Don't think it changes anything. Well, I will play the island to represent Counterspell at least. Make them think about something. If I just play Steam Vents tapped, then there are no secrets. Oh man, the Chippo. This thing has been pretty popular, and they're just like, fuck your Counterspell, I have Esper Sentinel. Yeah, Chip's pretty dope. Ooh, I could just take Esper Sentinel. Is that even good? This is a 0/4. It reconfigures for 3. I can... if I give them blue, that is the blue mana to reconfigure the chip. As long as Reality Chip is attached to a creature, you may play lands and cast spells from the top of your library. So they equip Reality Chip to Esper Sentinel, and then I steal Esper Sentinel with Archmage Charm. It's still their Reality Chip, and it is still attached to a creature. So they still get the benefits of Chip, and not me. I can... Okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to Spreading Seas the Inkmoth Nexus. I'm going to pay the 1 for Esper Sentinel. And then I'm going to use Teferi or Ottawa to send the Sentinel out of play and hope that Chip doesn't tear me up too hard in between. Probably just straight up equipping here, seeing what comes. Played a Plains. It doesn't tell me if they played it from their deck or otherwise. It just sort of arrives in play there. Destroy target tapped creature. Disappointing. Okay. I'm going to play Teferi. I'm going to pay the toll. I can send the Esper Sentinel back. Found Prismatic Ending. That's good. They can play Sentinel and re-equip Chip. I have Ending ready now. There it is. Pure Steel Pally. 3 artifacts. Okay. That can, in fact, move things around. Yep. M-Knight. Ornithopter. I have no idea. Oh, I guess I could look at their hand size. These all came off the top of the deck. Stoneforge Mystic. That's a good one. Looks like this this bus has left the station. I'm not even drawing live to Supreme Verdict because it can't cast it. Solitude. Disappointing. Plus Teferi. I think I need Ottawa as a land. If I play Ottawa as a land, I can Prismatic Ending the Pure Steel Paladin. Or do I Prismatic Ending the Chip? Is that how this matchup works now? I can exile Sentinel, and then I got Colossus Hammer. I can exile Sentinel with Prismatic Ending, or I can Solitude the Sentinel, and then ending Pure Steel. This is tricky. I could also just hold up Cryptic Command, but I think another turn with the Chip around is not defensible. Okay, I'm just gonna main phase Solitude. Sucks to lose the Wandering Emperor, but I believe it is required here. It's clearing out the Sentinel now, and then ending the Paladin, and I can Archmage Charm to take... I'm not sure I played that turn well. I can counter or take Colossus Hammer, but they could put Colossus Hammer in off Stoneforge. I could take this Ornithopter, but like we talked about, that doesn't actually solve the problem. Oh, if I had responded to it, it's equipped creature you control, so I actually could have fizzled that. Bummer. Okay, Shadow Spear's in play. Ornithopter's in play. Okay, Chalice on 0, because of you have to build your deck for a reality chip, Chalice on 0 last round was a lot better than I expected it would be. I could have avoided this by taking the Thopter in response. That's a layer of the effect I forgot about. Sword of Fire and Ice. Okay. Maybe I just need to draw 2 cards and look for Supreme Verdict at this point. Oh, they have 7 cards in their hand. If they attack with all their creatures, I lose Teferi. If they leave back Ornithopter, I can decide if I want Teferi around or not. Alright. I will gain control of Ornithopter and block one of these things. I wish Ornithopter died in this combat, but it did not. Shark Typhoon. This is still their reality chip. That does work how I thought it did. Disappointing. And I guess I'm passing the turn here. Ornithopter. Guard his aid. Well, there it is. That's the one we've been worried about. I still have Teferi, though. Okay. The Guarder's Aid revolves. Ginger Brutal. All of these cards are coming off the top of the deck. Their hand has been 8 cards since the start of this turn. Chip is cracked. Another Ornithopter, jeez. Okay, Chalice on 0, very good, in fact. You draw cards when they come into play. That hasn't happened yet. Teferi still controlling the worst of the Sigarda's Aid, though Shadow Spear giving trample sucks. They can cast Sword of Fire and Ice this turn, but that's all their mana. If I counter draw Sword of Fire and Ice, then they can equip Shadow Spear to something for free. Alright, they're just moving their chip over. Sure. Equipped Shadow Spear to Stoneforge Mystic. You got it. Trying to figure out how bad Sword of Fire and Ice is for me. Like, do I need to leave up Counterspell at all cost? Or if they go to combat right now, can I Shark Typhoon to eat something? Oh, Stoneforge Mystic is in play and active, so they can just chuck Sophie into play. Yeah, they don't even care. They're piling up on Teferi here. If I Shark Typhoon for 1, I get blown out by Sword of Fire and Ice either way, so I might as well just put a blocker into play. And it might find a removal spell. Nope. Block, Ginger Brute, and Stoneforge Mystic. They can still kill Teferi with the thing that's unblocked. Oh, they can make it even worse. These are attacking Teferi, right? God, if they're attacking me and they just plan to ping the Teferi, probably should have thought of that. Oh, right, the hammer also in their hand. Yeah, this chip business. It's officially overloaded my brain. I don't know what's left anymore. Okay, they did just pound Teferi rather than put in Sword of Fire and Ice, attack me with all 3, put in Sword of Fire and Ice, hit me, draw a card, shoot Teferi for 2. Okay, that's nice. I'll take that. I found my other white source, so Supreme Verdict is suddenly back to life as a card I can draw. Ha-ha! And I drew it. Might be too late. They've drawn infinity cards. And it's even Mystic Gate, so I can get up to 3 white this turn. Do I want to exile Reality Chip or Sigarda's Aid? That's actually a challenge. There's no Esper Sentinels in play. Sucks that this is not currently a creature. I can't kill the Ornithopter first and then Wrath. I mean, I can, it's just not a good idea. Wow, this chip is fucked. Lead on Supreme Verdict. Let's do that first. Get him out. And chip or aid? I think it's the chip. I'm giving it the respect it deserves here. Okay. Suddenly, we're stable at 18 life, though they do have 8 cards in hand. Saga. Yikes. Or Outfitter. I can hammer that up immediately. So Desire. Yep. Makes sense. Story checks out. Probably want to Sword of Fire and Ice it right now as well, while they know the getting's good. Solitude or Prismatic Ending is what I'm looking for here. Another Springleaf Drum. Drumming up. What? They're just equipping Shadow Spear. Okay. Draw for turn. Think twice. I can think twice and still Cryptic Command, so I am going to do the think twice from hand. See if I can find a removal spell here, or a land. Hey, that's the thing. 1, 2. Yep, okay, that's gone. One step at a time, folks. Blue-white control. Saga's still ticking up. We're not safe, but I'm working on it. That was probably the best draw. The one giant upside to them having drawn most of their deck is, despite me being in the tank constantly, figuring out how to be alive. They're actually at the same clock as me. Yeah, that one turn where I missed that Chip can't equip Ornithopter if I control it. If I had just thought of that 1 second sooner, I think we would be in a much better situation, because they played like 4 or 5 cards that turn. And then my priority shifted and I couldn't fight over Chip anymore for another turn. That was tough. Their clock is just ticking away. They haven't taken a game action for a full 3 minutes right now. They are deep in the tank. I wonder if that means they have just 100 different avenues of attack, or if they have nothing good. All right, suiting up the hammer. That's pretty good. Probably adding the sword to it now. Yep, also pretty good. Okay, deck. Let's keep them coming. Keep these hits rolling. That's a hit. Okay. I like it. I believe I am using Solitude to stabilize this turn, and then Cryptic Command after that, rather than the alternative. Let's see what comes out of the thing. Probably a hammer. Shadow Spear's already here. I basically have to Solitude whatever they put Shadow Spear on, and then block whatever doesn't have Shadow Spear on it, and hope they... I don't think they have the ability to equip at instant speed. Like, there's not like a Leon and Shikari effect in the deck. Okay, they did not put Shadow Spear on either. Solitude, let's go. Get the one that's holding Sword of Fire and Ice. Also the smaller one, so they gain less life. It's also the one that's not a token, so I can bounce a construct with Cryptic and answer it permanently. I can't do that to Core Skyfisher, or whatever this is, Core Equipment guy. Right, can't bounce a token that has Pro Blue. Shadow Spear on the Pro Blue one, that is correct. Oof. Alright, I'm gonna have to put Cryptic in tap draw mode. It's not really where I want it, but if I can buy time to Wrath again, I don't know. I feel like I'm running out of options. Multiple Sagas was just too good. Tap all creatures your opponents control, draw a card. Those are the modes. Found a land. That's not super helpful right now. Keep them coming, deck. Fire Ice is not exactly keeping them coming. I think I should think twice right now. If I draw Prismatic Ending, that can help. And that is a sorcery. Might be dead even with Prismatic Ending, because they have a second construct. They're both effing huge. Okay, there is now suddenly an out. I can ice the biggest construct and then try to spike a white card to Solitude, the one with Sophie on it. They're going to get another hammer, and then all of the constructs are enormous. Okay, here we are. Moment of truth. Hammer. Every single one of these things is lethal. Is there even a way out of this? I guess I could ice into white card and then draw Supreme Verdict. Or Steel Paladin. That's a good one. Don't have room for a counterspell because I'm dead. Okay, in the beginning of combat, I'm going to go blue-white, ice, one of the 21s, draw ice, nope, dead. Okay. That one would have been a miracle string to make that happen. Yeah, ice this one, draw white card, exile the big one, untap Supreme Verdict was the line there. Okay. Supreme Verdict, Factoring Gust. Now I know about the Reality Chip, so gotta keep an eye out for that guy. I've seen crazy Moto screenshots about Reality Chip, but this is the first time I've actually played against it. This sideboard plan should look familiar. The Think Twices were not bad, but I think just bringing in high impact spells is better. I don't think I'm on Mystical Dispute, the Reality Chip level. I had Shark Typhoon. What did I do last time? How did this work? I'm one card off right now. I don't think I would have cut Cryptic Command. That seems bad. Is it Archmage Charm? Is it Big Teferi on the play? And then I switched Big Teferi for a counterspell on the draw. I think that's what I did last time. I don't know. It makes sense now. Let's do it. I am keeping this hand on the play. Doesn't have red mana. Wish it did, but has everything else I want in the world. I'm not going to pay the 2. Esper Sentinel, powerful card. Come on, red mana. Let's make this thing high. Okay, no red mana. I'm just gonna play Mystic Gate and pass here. Inkmoth Nexus, Springleaf Drum, Garda's Aid, bummer. Would have loved to counter that card. I think this might be a Cycle Shark Typhoon just to be alive situation. If I do that and they flash in a thing, yeah, I am just gonna cycle for 2, find a new card, looking for red mana for fire. And it's technically red mana, but not great. If I tap out for Teferi and they draw a card, and then I bounce Esper Sentinel, then I am just iced to Inkmoth Nexus. And by iced, I mean ice cold. I wish I could ice the Inkmoth Nexus, actually. I think I have to play Otawara. Oh, wait, no. If my plan is to Spreading Seas, then I can save my Otawara and see the Inkmoth Nexus. I'll pay the 1. They didn't make me pay 11 in response. I'm pretty happy about that. Okay, here we are. Deck is so scary. Lately, I've been playing a lot of Grixis Shadow in Modern, which just makes decks like these like, oh good, I got the buy. But when you're actually trying to interact on any sort of fair axis, it's terrifying. Now they have a Teferi. Don't like that. Very plussed. Probably the right call. But now that they don't have Inkmoth Nexus anymore, I can deploy my own Teferi. Oh good, I drew a land that comes into play untapped and also isn't Otawara. Teferi, pay the 1. Now I can send the Esper Sentinel out. Okay, the board is currently stable, but they have Teferi, which makes a lot of my shit a lot worse. Though Otawara gets through Teferi, that could be a blowout in the wings. I am just not playing Otawara no matter what. Oh, right. They can bounce my Spreading Seas and kill me. I'm so dead. Please play around Solitude. Please play around Solitude. Oh, wait. They don't have to because they have Teferi. Yep, just fucking dead. Yeah, what did I have to do there? Like, play a second Spreading Seas on the Inkmoth? All right. Yeah, we're just dead. You got me. I thought we were rolled up, but obviously Teferi is a correct magic card. Yeah, this blue-white version is way scarier than the white or white-black versions that we saw during the Luris era. I don't want to play against Counterspells or Teferi Time Raveler. Are you kidding me? Just let me know that my spells are going to resolve. Oof, that was a clinic. Smushed. We're a few rounds into the video. Thanks for sticking with me. Friendly reminder that if you're still here and having fun, smash that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, you can use my affiliate link for TCG Player to support the channel while you shop for cards, and you can try any deck anytime with a cardhoarder.com loan account for Magic Online. All these links are in the video description below. Now back to the league. I'm on the draw for round 3. I'm going to keep this hand. It's got all my colors and a bunch of fires in it. I hope this is a deck where fire is good, so I'm ready to fire. Basic Island, go. Celestial Colonnade, go. Gonna need some lands eventually. Basic Island, opt. What deck plays opt? Is Murktide still playing opt? Are they on to consider yet? Or do they play both? I suspect this is Murktide. That was a great land drop to hit. Now I'm holding up fire, or ice, or counterspell, or just get tap Triome and be set up next turn. Oh, is this some sort of mirror? They also got a Triome. I also know that trick. This is the type of matchup where Think Twice thrives. If I start missing land drops, I'm going to be pretty distressed. As long as I'm hitting land drops, I'm comfortable in matchups like this, but when I start missing them, I'm just really behind the ball. Think Twice in the end step. Green Verdict, ouch. Land? Fuck. Yeah, that's bad. Tapping out to draw a card and try to hit my land drop is worse than missing a land drop, though. Snapcaster Mage. Okay. Targeting opt. I'm not going to fall for this trap. If I try to answer this Snapcaster Mage right now and then counterspells down and they just stick to Teferi, then we're done. I'm going to discard Supreme Verdict. This is the difference between hitting land drops and not. Like, I could have cleanly fired Snapcaster Mage, keep that pressure off the board, still holding up Counterspell, but I don't have a land, so I can't do that, and now I'm just behind the curve on everything for the rest of this game. They can play like 3 mana Teferi with Counterspell backup now, and I can't double counter. Think Twice in the end step, out of the graveyard. See if I get mushed by some Wandering Emperor or something here. Yep. Land drops. Tough. Tough crowd. Land? Okay, we got one. Okay, now clearing the Wandering Emperor is kind of a priority. I'm just gonna get her fired immediately. And I have land drops set up for the next turn. They are on board in a way that I'm not. These nickel and dimes are probably going to add up. A breeding pool. We got 4 colors over there. I wonder if they have spells of those colors or if we're just making Prismatic Ending better. I'm not going to fetch in the end step because they could flash in another thing. If I do, I have a land to play. We're good there. I could steal the Samurai token in combat and block. It has vigilance, so that's a play that's available. Don't know that I want to make it, but it's there. So I probably have to get moving somewhere here. I'm going to try to steal the Samurai. See how that goes for me. If I can stabilize this board so I'm not taking 4 a turn, I'm actually going to feel okay to good about the game. Cool. All right. Let's see if they have Thing plus Counterspell here. Oh, now or never. That's how this works. Counter that. Okay, they countered back, which means they are tapped low. I could slam big Teferi. They drew a card immediately. Oh shit, they had the land. That's bad. Red. I'm gonna fire Teferi and face. And if they counter this, I can jam Wandering Emperor. Snapcaster Mage. Okay. Targeting Counterspell. That they just can't cast. They're just putting a creature into play. Oh, that's annoying. I can Prismatic Ending this while they're tapped low. Yeah, I think I want to just keep them off board. So if I play Wandering Emperor minus, I just lose Emperor to Snapcaster Mage if they can kill my token. And I haven't given them anything to kill yet, so any Prismatic Ending or whatever in their hand is just there. I'm going to bet they don't have 2 Wandering Emperors. Okay, Think Twice got through. Starting to turn in the correct direction here, I think. I want to turn off Reading Pool. They might have a Castle Vantress or some land that actually has super relevant text, but I'm gonna cycle and move further into my deck where I can here. Deluge, yeah, that's a good one. I'm gonna think twice in the end step and then just go to my turn without fetching. There's Castle Vantress, cool. That one helps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. Not quite at double spelling. I'm gonna play Vantress though, and if they flash back Memory Deluge, I can sneak the Emperor through. They'll only have 1 mana left. In case they play Force of Negation, I want to play Emperor now and make a Samurai. Okay, I have a Planeswalker and they don't, but they have 7 cards in hand and I don't. We are in the scrap here. And turning off Breeding Pool means they can't Prismatic Ending for 4. Shit. They were not deterred. Here's Big Teferi. And going straight into card draw mode. They must have counterspells ready to just win this fight no matter what. Ending my token. That makes sense. But it's this bounce. It does bounce a Planeswalker. Does that help me? I guess it kind of gives me a snowball's chance, which is what I need right now. I'm going to bounce Big Teferi. Get him out. I am losing this game. And all of this is cascading from them hitting land drops in the early game, and I didn't. I had to play on the back foot because I wasn't able to answer their things as they deployed them, and then we were starting to settle into a draw-go game where they were dealing 4 a turn, and I wasn't. And that just sucks. Oh, speaking of sucks, so they have a Wandering Emperor for me. Great. They did tap super low to make this happen. I can make a Samurai, and then I can make a Teferi. And this time I have the counterspell. Even if they do a Force of Negation, I can fight over it. And draw a card. Alright, cool. I think drawing that card is more important than tucking the Wandering Emperor right now, because that also untaps my lands. Gives me Solitude if I want it. Counterspell there, Teferi. Maybe I'm supposed to Solitude the Samurai in response to that fetch land. Just make sure the board is clear and I'm ahead and they have to decide what they want to fight over. Oh, but I have Supreme Verdict. I don't care about Samurai token. Interesting they made a second Samurai rather than letting this Samurai eat mine for free. But I guess they're still ahead on material. Here's your Teferi. And you're going to have a Counterspell because that's what was represented most recently. Yep, there it is. Teferi's in. It's probably going to tuck my Teferi. Oh, there goes my Teferi. They have 3 mana available. I think I need to send my Celestial Colonnade at their Teferi. I can even Wandering Emperor to make it bigger. Put a +1 counter on it for the future. If I get into combat, I can Counterspell also. Okay. Deck Hero of Dominaria. Yeah, that's the one I'm worried about. All right, so they either have a Counterspell or they punted here. Counter that. And because this is already attacking, it doesn't matter that it's tapped. If they made that move at the beginning of combat, then my Counterspell would have tapped my Colonnade, and they would have kept Teferi either way. That's pretty big. I think I want to keep my Emperor. If they had a Counterspell, they would have cast it, right? Okay. I'm going to Solitude right now and get their Samurai out of the mix. Make sure that I have creatures and they do not. Or by creature, I mean Celestial Colonnade. And my Wandering Emperor is ready to pop. Theirs is not. I have a companion. They don't. There are 3 cards in that hand, though. Let's see what they are. Their Teferi's dead. Mine is just 2 cards down in my deck. Wandering Emperor plus target nothing. I also just took the lead on Clock, which is the other secret metric in this matchup. What's left in the tank over here? Oh no, they had another Teferi. My life is pain. They're just drawing cards like they're supposed to. 1, 2, 3, 4, activate. Yeah, I'm not even close to Castle Vantress to find my own Teferi here. Okay, Teferi is the top card of my deck, so I'm not activating this Flooded Strand. Okay, here we go, Celestial Colonnade. Moment of Truth. It's Cryptic Command. Oh, they're Vantressing in response. All right, interesting. They're trying to bait a misclick? Or like, why would they do that specifically there and not any other time? This is already big enough to kill Teferi, so I'm just going to attack it. Oh, we're in there. Okay, Teferi's down. And, yeah, this only activates if you cast her this turn, so I can tap my Celestial Colonnade to get Kaheera, and I can make a 1/1 Vig token. Making a token turns on Archmage Charm. Like, they could steal my token, kill my Wandering Emperor. But I think Archmage Charm with Teferi on top of my deck can find better uses than that. Made a Samurai. 3 cards in their hand. Opt. Okay. Opt bottom the card. They played a land. This is my Teferi. There he is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I can't Teferi and bash with Colonnade this turn. I'm gonna suit up my Samurai on the ground, and I am gonna go in with Colonnade here. I'm gonna send both of these at Wandering Emperor, and hope they don't have Shark Typhoon. Holy shit, that would be devastating here. Oh god, they're tapping mana. March of Otherworldly Light. Oh, that's pretty dope. Doesn't say non-land. You're right. Okay, Colonnade's gone. They can chump block or lose their Planeswalker here, and then I can start steamrolling from being ahead on board. That position they had earlier of Snapcaster Mage and they're chipping for damage and I'm not, is now my position. Have to fetch Plains here. I guess I could get Hallowed Fountain, but I'm not going to be fast and loose with my life total here. Because I'm mega dead to a Shark Typhoon regardless. Snapcaster Mage. March of Otherworldly Light does remove one of these creatures. Alright. Well, they are Hellbent, but they have Castle Vantress. Probably going to remove Kaheera. Oh, okay. They went after my token instead. Oh, yeah, I guess Kaheera is a trade with Snapcaster. Yeah, that was the right call. It's a 3-2 versus 3-3, and I'm not going to let them have Wandering Emperor for free. They topped their Castle Vantress. That's terrifying. Yeah. Alright. Oh, there's more spells. Solitude. Okay. Alright, so they have given up on Teferi in order to make sure Wandering Emperor is dead this turn. Probably a good call. I need a removal spell. All Storm Giants ain't it. Oh, I mistapped. I should have left Supreme Verdict up as an out. Oh, Hall of Storm Giants doesn't let that happen anyway. Alright, draw a card. Oh, hello. I can make you choose which Teferi you want to fight over at least. And I mean, I know the answer, but still going to bounce this Solitude out of here. Keep the cards flowing. Bouncing my own Spreading Seas might have been like the mega pro play. Oh, right. Bouncing Solitude means that they can't kill Big Teferi anyway. They're spending mana. All right. Castle Vantress. That's right. I know their only card in hand is Solitude. This has Ward. All. Ward 3. Yeah. They have plenty of mana to exile that thing if they can kill Little Teferi. This is actually a lot of fun because they have to kill Little Teferi because they can't kill Big Teferi anyway. And they can't even really afford to put damage on it because their hand doesn't function with Little Teferi in play. This is fun. You know, I'm behind, but I'm having fun. All right, Chalice of the Void. Let's draw a card. That's a good one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Memory Deluge. Load me up. They have... Oh, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can Teferi and Archmage Charm here. Teferi and Archmage Charm. Land. Fetch. I guess I have to shock in now. Then blue, white, colorless. Just jamming Solitude here. They can... Oh, I can steal the Samurai. No, I'm good here. They can have that. Then Little Teferi resolves. And then bounce Solitude. And then I can Chalice on 1. Their deck plays 1-drops. Mine doesn't. And then I get the untap from Big Teferi, which lets me Archmage Charm. And I'm just going to hope that they put the +1 counter on their Samurai to give me a bigger Samurai. Okay, things are happening here. Oh, they did have Shark Typhoon at the end of the party. Yikes. Well, I'm going to have to steal that instead. I hope they put their +1 counter on it. Okay, they put it on the Samurai. Opt, just jamming it straight into Chalice. Told ya. Nice. Okay, beginning of combat. I'm going to gain control of Shark Token, which means they can either kamikaze one of their creatures in to remove Little Teferi, or they can let me have both Planeswalkers for the turn cycle and play Solitude to remove the Shark. There's the Solitude, which gains me 4 life. There is a Supreme Verdict in my deck still. Memory Deluge is also in my graveyard. Cryptic Command is great. Gonna plus Little Teferi, plus Big Teferi. We're almost at ultimate, and Cryptic Command helps in that regard. I'm gonna fetch the land out of my deck, and I'm just gonna leave as much mana up as possible. Flashback Deluge. Teferi, Spreading Seas, Archmage Charm, fuck yeah. Prismatic Ending. Is that good? Not for a little while. I'll take Think Twice here. Untap 2 lands, Hall and Mountain. Vantress activation. Just gotta manage my clicks and my clock here, because I'm pretty sure I'm winning this game. Or at least I'm ahead right now. I think I'm ahead right now. Beginning of combat. Tap all your opponent's creatures, draw a card. And there's the Prismatic Ending, which I can cast. I can't cast it for 1, though, because of my Chalice. Taking another 2/2. Yeah, I think I should just think twice looking for the other Supreme Verdict at this point. Oh, JK, I have to cast Counterspell. Okay, take that thing out. Come on, Supreme Verdict. Solitude's also a really good card. Draw with Big Teferi, plus Little Teferi. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 1, 2. I believe I can control this attack and get into the Teferi ultimate. Oh, right. I get to untap some things. Might as well exile Snapcaster Mage while we're chilling. 3 mana. Don't let that go to waste. Vantress activation. I do have to watch out for my deck, though. So Big Teferi has the no decking clause because he can tuck himself. That is how the old standard deck worked. 0 win cons, you just had Big Teferis. They seemed surprised that they got into combat. There was some hesitation. Okay, yeah, they're just going face. They started to attack Teferi, then realized they're not winning that game anyway. Here's my Solitude. I'm going to eat your Solitude. And then I'm going to block your 3/3. And because they attacked me, I don't even need to fight over the other one. I can exile it with Prismatic Ending. I just don't. I'm not convinced that I care. Archmage Charm to draw 2. Yeah, go for it. That's not my fight. If I ultimate Big Teferi, then draw cards immediately. There's another op straight into Chalice. Tight. I wonder if they're memeing or if that's like, there's actually a reason to do that. I'm going to exile this Samurai now. Just start my Teferi emblem with unlimited things. Or clear table. All right, there we go. Big Teferi emblem. Second Big Teferi. And he can tuck himself. Draw a card. Exile your Wandering Emperor. Here's my land for the turn. I can think twice. Exile your Castle Vantress. And I should activate my other Teferi. I can exile 2 cards at will by drawing 2 cards with Archmage Charm. I have Counterspell. I don't care about permanence anymore. I just need my Teferi to stay alive to tuck himself, and we will eventually win this game. Solitude. That resolves. And Vantress. Watch the clock. Oh, geez. Top. Top. Yeah, I don't care about Solitude because I draw a card and exile it. You're out of here. Plus little Teferi. Plus big Teferi. Exile your other Castle Vantress. Play my Castle Vantress. Pass a turn. Just not going to use big Teferi. Just playing for time now. I feel like my opponent's probably going to start F6ing. But I can also just kill them. Just Shark Typhoon plus Hall is lethal right now. Plenty of cards in my deck to make that happen. I could have been attacking with Hall a little sooner. I just don't think that I needed to. 11 plus 7 is exactly 18. Exile Ottawar with the draw. Exile Rockrin Triome with this draw. Then activate Hall. Bump a bar. They do cycle a Shark Typhoon. I can flashback Think Twice to exile the token. Okay. Up a game, but slightly behind on clock. Time to tighten up. Do I want Emrakul in my deck? That's 4 mil, but I mean, I might have all 15 lands in play. I think there are 16 mana producing lands, maybe 17 in this deck. Cards like Mystical Dispute and Spell Pierce help in the early game, but fall off quick in the mid and late game. Not sure if I'm supposed to be playing those, but Wandering Emperor is a scary thing. I guess I do want Spell Pierce. And the Chalice was kind of sick. They have 1-drops and I don't. They were also a Snapcaster deck. Like Relic might have some text. Dovin's Veto seems pretty important. Supreme Verdict. I was drawing to that pretty often, but it is probably the cut. My Solitudes are still in. Prismatic Ending's in. I probably do want to cut Chalice, even though it was pretty fun. Nipping the ops. Think Twice, Counterspell, all good cards. Teferis, various Teferis are all essential. Fire was good. I picked up multiple Planeswalkers with a fire that last game. Did like that. Maybe I should cut some Solitudes. So another Solitude and Counterspell's important. Oh, Spreading Seas isn't super important here. Okay. I'm going to do this. I'm not bringing in the Emrakul. As reasonable as I think that actually is. Time to click fast. Hate to time out when we're winning a control mirror. I am slightly behind on clock right now. Gonna mulligan this no-lander. Gonna keep this 4-lander. I'm gonna bottom plains. Bottoming a land might be reckless when all I'm trying to do is hit land drops, but I think it's okay. I have a lot of lands. Oh yeah, Teferi. I'm gonna fetch Triome. Get that in. Stick gate, ship it. Holding up Counterspell. You can opt, go for it. They just land go. Ooh, Spell Pierce is really good. I'm gonna play Plains and pass. Spell Pierce could help me win a fight over Teferi, or if they have like some bait in my end step, thinking they can get me off Counterspell for their main phase, you can win a fight over Wandering Emperor. Shark Typhoon for 1, that's fine. Teferi will answer that next turn. Got their 1 point in there. Okay, I'm going to Counterspell their Teferi. Guess I could have Archmage Charm, but if they have Spell Pierce, I want to win the Spell Pierce fight. And then untap and slam my own Teferi. but then they're on 5 mana. Spell Pierce, Spell Pierce. We both had the same idea. I think Wandering Emperor is actually better than Teferi here. It's like right now when I know it's going to work. I guess I would know it would work next turn anyway. Yeah, I'm going with Teferi. Never mind. Teferi. Bounce the Shark. And pass the turn. Hope they don't have big Teferi right now. But I have Otawara if they do. Archmage Charm. Okay. Yeah, just main phase, draw cards, Archmage Charm. I'll take that. Snapcaster, just as creature. Otawara. I'm going to play it as a land. Just think that's more important right now. And I can pass the turn. Teferi is plussed. I'm actually going to Ending and leave up Archmage Charm for the turn cycle. Let's have a completely stable board when I go for Wandering Emperor. Like, it would suck to Emperor, ambush the Teferi, and then just die to other Teferi. Yeah, or they stick their own Wandering Emperor. That sort of shit is to be avoided if possible. Plus, and I'm not going to Spreading Seas their Castle Vantress right now. I think now is the time to push on Emperor. And here she is. She cannot be messed with. Could have Shark Typhoon. That would be somewhat distressing. Maybe I'm supposed to make a second creature there. Is that a better play pattern? Don't even know. Too bad at Magic. No one will tell me. Seize their Vantress. Didn't activate in response. I drew Counterspell. Hell yeah. Let's go. Solitude. Do I care? I don't want to care, but I'm going to. I'm just worried about the clock. I think in real life I would let this resolve. And just like work through it with Wandering Emperor tokens, but my opponent seems convinced that's enough, and they scooped it up. Okay, dope. Control mirrors. A lot of fun. I was pretty sure we lost game 1 on like turn 4 when I missed my 3rd land drop and they put me behind, but we navigated it pretty well. On to the next one. I am on the play in round 4. I'm going to keep this hand with lands in it. Blooded Strand can get the Triome, then we're just off to the races. Let's hope this is a matchup where Prismatic Ending is good, because that's what I got going on. Oh god. Oh, okay. Good, good, good. That's a deal. I thought this pathway was a spell modal double face card, not a land double face card. I'm okay with this version. Now the question is, do I fight over the scales or the things that come out of the scales? I think I have enough removal that I can remove the scales up front and deal with any additional fallout later. Winding Constrictor. Okay. Another scales effect. The 4th mana, what does that do? I think that improves my confidence that I'll be able to operate in the late game or the mid game. So I'm going to just exile this Constrictor as well. And then Deluge gets me to Teferi. Ooh, you're a Saga deck. That's exciting. A Welding Jar, a Zabaz. Okay. Oh, Otawara is dope. Okay, if this Zabaz somehow just like loads up, I can Otawara it, or I can cycle Shark Typhoon and eat it. Here comes Zabaz, the Glimmer Wasp. Gonna get Island to preserve my life total and make a 2/2 Shark. On board, they would have to lose either Zabaz or Welding Jar here. Either one is cool with me. Block. Yeah, they can make a construct and then modular onto the construct. Teferi can tuck the construct, or Otawara can bounce it. Yeah, just going into turn 5 without having taken any damage from them yet is really nice. Oh, Spreading Seas, huge draw. Gonna hit the Saga right now before I can make another thing and tutor. And I'm just gonna put Kaheera in my hand. Not bluffing. Here we go. Spend my mana, put this card in my hand. Let's do it. That's a white card for future Kaheeras, or for future Solitudes. Invest in the future. Oh, they're drawing a card with Peatland. I like that. Patchwork Automaton. That's a good one. All right, I'm going to take 4 from the construct, and then I'm going to Teferi and tuck the construct. Probably, unless I draw a different removal spell. Not a different removal spell. So the plan is still online here. Get rid of Construct. I can chump block Automaton for a turn, which untaps me into Otawara. Let's hope they don't have removal right now for Shark Typhoon or Trample. I can afford the Ward 2 at this point. 3 cards in their hand. The Ozolith, pretty dope. How combo are we getting here? Okay, Ravager is good, but it doesn't give Trample. Easiest block of my life. I'm going to get the Steam Vents right now in case I need to fire some people. Mystic Gate just gives me bottomless white mana. Multiple Spreading Seas. Teferi, help me out here. Alright, Teferi, finding different Teferi is pretty nice. 1, 2, 3. Alright, little Teferi, get in. If I bounce this, it would cost me 2 mana, and then I'd have 3 up. I could target Ravager and see if they want to. I could bounce the Ozolith. They can just stifle the card draw no matter what, if they want to do that. I'm going to bounce Ravager. I feel like that's the one they are most likely to miss if they just sack it to keep me from drawing a card. Oh, I just mistapped the Teferi. Oh, okay. I drew a white source anyway. Never punished. Okay. I do have to shock this in, though. I was not counting the fact that I need Kaheera in play. Or, no, I don't. I can, now that I hit the land, I can pay the ward and bounce the Automaton. Yeah, Otawara is legendary creature, so I don't get reduced for Teferis. That's probably good for Magic. Bad for me currently, though. Okay, the Ozolith can put... Oh, they're putting tokens on Ravager. That's cool. Gonna need a Supreme Verdict at some point, no matter what here. Let's Otawara this thing. Pay the ward. Not a permanent answer, but it does put my Teferi in play for another turn. If I can remove the Ozolith while it's holding all these counters, that'll take a weight off of me as well. Oh, Fire Ice, hell yeah. Plus big Teferi first. See where this goes. Ooh, I like that. Plus little Teferi. I have a freebie here from Big Teferi to Spreading Seas, the Inkmoth Nexus. They could animate it and sack it to keep me from drawing a card. That does seem to be the play. Yeah, that's fair and fine. And I believe I'm just going to the next turn now. I have the mana to pay the ward on Solitude. See where these counters go. They're onto Automaton. That's good. That helps me diversify where I want to diversify. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana. Exile the Automaton. We'll pay the ward. It's nice being a white deck where Welding Jar just does not meaningfully impact you. I'm just moving this board state around until I can answer this Ravager. Really glad I fought over the enablers early on. Like, if Hardened Scales or Winding Constrictor were on this board, I think I'd already be dead. Another Saga, okay. I have Spreading Seas loaded up for that one. Storm Giants, draw with Big Teferi, plus Little Teferi. Take my free lunch on Spreading Seas. They have 1 card left in their hand. Do I want Hall in play? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I could have 8 mana, which lets me... I can Ice Ravager for a turn and Deluge. 5, 6, 7, 8. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 is to do everything. I think I'm going to invest in Hall right now and pass the turn. I'm going to Ice Ravager and play Deluge this turn. I could also just represent Hall, and that's a 7/7. So they're 4/4. Oh no, it'll be a 7/7 due to the Ozolith. Never mind. I'm going to have to ice it. Another Saga, Relentless. Ice the Ravager. Supreme Verdict, hell yeah. And because of Little Teferi, Supreme Verdict is an instant. Time to Deluge myself in the music the moment you own it. Never let it go. Gonna get Archmage Charm and Solitude. Just more removal and counter spells. Plus Big Teferi. Plus Little Teferi. Gonna enjoy Kaheera. Gonna get the Big Mom into play, which makes Solitude bigger. Oh, I guess this just fucked up my whole master plan of casting Supreme Verdict. But now I have Solitude, so maybe that's even better. So still in my end step. Untap these two. Yeah, I probably want to Solitude Ravager now, so they can't dump their modules onto a construct token, at least not twice. They still get the Ozolith, but... Or I could steal the Ozolith. My god. That's happening. Buckle up, nerds. Hardened Scales. Done fighting over that. Oh yeah, they're going for it. And still in the main phase, before the Ozolith triggers, I'm taking it. Yoink. Do they have a plan for 10-10 Solitude? Or 11-10 Solitude? No, they do not. Thanks for loading up that Ozolith for me. That was sweet. Tasty little control game. Fracturing Gust seems important. Chalice looks big. Supreme Verdict is big. Dress Down looks big. Yeah, there is Saga deck. I'm in for a Dress Down on basically any Saga deck. Rest in Peace does stop modular, but I am a Deluge deck. Does that matter? Am I boarding out Deluge against this deck? Spreading Seas is important. They have Inkmoth Nexus and Saga. They're really testing my Spreading Seas. I believe this is a Think Twice Out matchup. I'm going to treat this mostly like Hammer Time. Old green-black Hammer Time deck. Okay, Deluge and one more card. If I'm cutting Deluge, then I don't use my graveyard anymore. Does that matter to me? To the point that I want Rest in Peace? I'm sure it doesn't. No, I don't want Rest in Peace. Stop it. Fire Ice seems like mega bonkers or mega medium, but tapping their Ravager that turn was pretty dope. Cryptic seems really important. How am I winning this game if I cut my other Teferi? Just big Shark Typhoons. God, nothing makes me happier than slamming big Teferi, though. Right, I'm going to shave a regular Counterspell. Leave in all my charms because they can steal important permanents. Leave in my Cryptic because it affects combat. I hope this makes sense. That's what I'm doing. Okay, on the draw here, I'm going to keep this. It's a little slow to interact early. I can Solitude if there's an emergency, but having 2 Supreme Verdicts and Solitude chillin', I'm into that. Ravager resolves. It's a 2/2. I can Solitude that in an emergency if I don't draw Prismatic Ending right now. Get my Triome, make sure I'm set up there. Prismatic Ending, Counterspell. All right. All of Storm Giants. I can Counterspell something this turn and still Solitude if there's an emergency. I would really like to get up to the Supreme Verdict and still be alive. Attacking for 2. No additional spells. That's smart. Need that 4th land, and then I'll feel pretty good. Okay. Okay. Now we're cooking. Steam Vents tapped. Now I can Supreme Verdict whatever's in play next turn, and then Solitude the Inkmoth Nexus, and then I'm going to feel pretty good. If they play a creature, I'm probably not even going to Counterspell it. That's a good one. Another Hardened Scales. Okay. Maybe that was a Counterspell worth casting, but I don't know how quick they can kill me. Don't actually know all the busted nonsense of this deck. Ooh, that's a good one. Okay. It's in play. I'm going to have to Solitude that one. Kind of holding on to this Counterspell as long as I can. If I could Cryptic to tap their squad for a turn and further develop, then I might be able to catch some... Alright, I'm going to Cryptic for a turn. This Saga is concerning to me. Maybe I can get a construct into the Supreme Verdict. I don't have to cast a spell here. I will though. I do want to hit my 5th land. Tap all your opponent's creatures and draw a card. I'm gonna do that, and if I find the 5th land for Solitude, things get a lot different and easier. They can charge up Hangerback Walker, which does generate 3 things. Oh right, I can't Solitude Hangerback Walker because of Arcbound Ravager. Okay. I see what you're doing. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Come on, deck. Give me the land off the top. If I draw an untapped land, I can Solitude pitching a Supreme Verdict targeting Hangerback Walker, get them to pop that or clear it or whatever, then just Fracturing Gust for gajillions. Come on, deck. There are 19 lands in there. Give me one of them. Oh, Ashiok. That sucks ass. Fuck. Okay. Well, now fetch lands are off the table. I was not ready for that. They did just Master Blast me. Okay. An untapped land that's not a fetch land. Yes. Easy game. Alright. So the Ashiok can blast here. Fracturing Gust is an instant. I can let them do whatever they're going to do with Urza Saga. I guess if they tutor up a Welding Jar, that kind of sucks, but are they really going to do that? No, they probably get Ozolith. That's what happens here. But Ozolith dies. Welding Jar is the one I'm worried about. Let's hope they aren't on that level. Ozolith. Okay, confirmed. Okay. If they attack me for 8, how bad is that? They attack with these. No blocks. You want to pile up or put me to 7? Okay, because Solitude is not an artifact or enchantment. If I can play Solitude for mana here, yeah, just using my life total as a resource, and then end step Solitude, targeting Hangerback Walker. They sack it, get a bunch of Thoppies, and then I can Fracturing Gust, kill everything, and then attack Ashiok. All right, let's hope this works. Hope I'm not missing anything essential here. Oh, they can sack all these things so I don't actually gain 1,000,000 life. Like Ravager could just be enormous. I think do I care about Ashiok? Is that where this game is? I'm just going to Fracturing Gust and attack Ashiok. We have 2 cards in their hand. Oh, this card costs triple white, so I do have to filter into Mystic Gate. Thanks, Magic Online. Bang. So they can pile up onto Ravager to mitigate the life gain. I still gain 6 life, no matter how they slice it, and they can't get these counters onto the Ink Moth, my knowledge. That's not how the stack works. Oh, they can sack Ozolith, then Ravager, so I'm getting 4 life regardless. Yep, sack Ozolith, sack Ravager, because if they activate Ink Moth and try to put the counters on that, then it just dies to the Gust. Then I'm at 11, and attack Ashiok. You do have to determine when you put a card like Ashiok in your deck if the point of that card is Mindlock Orb, or if it's deck your opponent. Because I'm not convinced that deck your opponent was the mode, and if they just activated that one fewer time than they did, it would have been fine. I'm going to smush here with Solitude, and then Spreading Seas, the Ink Moth, and then Supreme Verdict. Bang. Handful of removal, and Big Teferi. Wandering Emperor. Wandering Emperor is cool. I'm going in on Big Teferi, though. If I draw a land here, we're just golden. There it is. Yeah, that gives me the 4 mana to fire Ice plus Ward. Sithing Needle. I probably want to fire here. No, I can just ice the thing and catch it in the Supreme Verdict. I could block it with a Samurai. Yeah, I got choices here. Oh, they're Hellbent, yeah. Get out of here. Activating Inkmoth Nexus, and what is the play? Where are these going? Are we piling up on Teferi? They're piling up on my face. Okay. Wandering Emperor. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exile target tapped creature. I'm going to get rid of Inkmoth Nexus. And they're just going to concede. They know where this is going. Haven't even reached for Kaheera yet. And they are out of cards. We're 3-1 on to the final round. It's the final round. I'm on the draw. I'm going to keep this hand with lands and spells in it. And you know what time it is. It's breakfast time. Get that bread and butter. Planes go. Mystic Gate is so sick, because leading on planes and then holding up Counterspell on turn 2, pretty nice. Shocked and Esteem Vents in the end step. I'm expecting Consider. Okay, yep. Thinking we're against a Murktide deck. Pile of Solitudes will be nice there. Yeah, this is looking pretty Delvery. I believe they're holding up Counterspell. They shocked in Steam Vents that didn't cast a spell. They just saw that Prismatic ending. That is big news. I think Twice is going to have to do some work here. If I hit land drops, I'm going to feel great. If I don't, I'm going to feel bad. And that is how control decks work. I wonder what they're looking for. Like if they kept a one lander, because they've kept both the cards off consider in a deck that is mostly interested in just slamming. Okay. They're holding up Counterspell pretty obviously here. I can counter now and then exile the Ragavan. I can use Solitude to exile Ragavan. If I had a land, this would be pretty easy, but I don't, so we're in hard mode. Like they saw Prismatic Ending, so I think that they were just using Counterspell to protect Ragavan. That's why they didn't dash it. Land please, land please, land please. Oh god. What a relief. Now I can Shark Typhoon for 1 and make a blocker if they do dash Ragavan. And more importantly, my Think Twice is back up. Okay, here's little Raggy Daddy. Tapped land. I think Shark Typhoon is better than Think Twice here. That at least guarantees the body in play. And their deck is full of lightning bolts, so I'm not going to like rely on that, but it is nice to have it available. Come on, land. Land, land, land. Yes. Okay. Now I can exile Ragavan and then just kidding, steal Ragavan. And I am going to lead on the Prismatic Ending here. They have Counterspell. Go ahead. Counterspell me. I will fetch and steal that Ragavan so fast. Not attacking with Shark Token. Gonna respect dash. Lightning Bolt, Unholy Heat, whatever. You got it. 4 cards in hand. I guess dash Ragavan with Counterspell up is still on the table here. This looks like a Murktide Regent with Counterspell backup. I have Solitudes if I can hit my land drops. I can afford to fetch basics here. The Mystic Gate is making this all worth doing. Make it all possible. Counter target spell. I expect to get counterspelled here. And then come on deck, draw me the land so I don't have to pitch my Solitude. I can just cast it like normal. A face-up 5-mana Solitude here will feel pretty unbeatable. Disappointing. Okay, I'm going to draw a card with Think Twice first. See if I can find my land drop or a white card I'm more willing to pitch. Spreading Seas, just target one of these red lands, whatever. Okay, I'll play Triome, and I think I should actually pitch Teferi, as much as that hurts my body and soul. Because Teferi dies to Unholy Heat, and so does Solitude, but at least it removes a big threat along the way. And when we're both getting low on resources, I'd rather go that way with it. Alright, Expressive Iteration, no longer low on resources, full of resources. Milled a Lightning Bolt. I suspect this matchup is good on paper. It's just how your cards line up and if you use them correctly. We'll find out pretty soon if keeping the Teferi was the right call. Oh, nice. They exiled Ragavan but didn't have an untapped red source to cast it, so it's just gone. I like that. Please and thank you. I think I want to just cast Solitude right now before they can hold up counter magic. Cryptic Command can bounce a Murktide Regent, which is pretty good. A pretty respectable answer to that card. Another iteration. Round and around we go. Consider is the exiled card. They are currently considering. Bend the card, and it looks like I'm going to my turn with Solitude in play. Ooh, the little guy. I'm going to attack first, see what happens. Okay. I can bounce, draw with Cryptic. They have a second Lightning Bolt. That's a huge blowout. But they wouldn't put a second Lightning Bolt in their hand on purpose at this phase of the game. Yeah, I'm actually going to bounce draw and get a 2-for-1 here, or try to get a 2-for-1 here anyway. Turn target permanent to its owner's hand and draw a card. Moment of truth. Am I a genius or did I walk into a blowout? Force of negation. Okay. All right. It got a 2-for-1, but not in the way I expected. Okay, Teferi's the last card in my hand. They are actual hellbent right now. Ooh, that's a good one. Do I want to test with Teferi or just get into... Yeah, I'll test with Teferi. Teferi? I'm going to bounce my Spreading Seas. That can draw an extra card. Nice. Found a land. And I can put Kaheera in hand or flashback Think Twice this turn. I think I'd rather Think Twice. No offense to Kaheera, but actual magic cards, removal spells, what I'm interested in here. Looks like a Murktide to me. Murky Rege in play. Not worried about it. I have the Emperor. Nice. And whatever their other spell is, not going to be helpful here. Think Twice, showing up strong. I've been really into this card during the course of the league. Ooh, all right. I have options. 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess I should Spreading Seas regardless. No. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. All right, yeah. I can Counterspell. I can 4-drop and then Counterspell. Whether it's Spreading Seas or Wandering Emperor, to be determined. Bobble, whatever. Bobbling me, okay. I think I want a Verdict here. Oh, they're going face, not Teferi. Okay. Yeah, Emperor. Yeah, I'm gonna Verdict. Yeah, Emperor going to 1 right away means she doesn't produce a creature right away. And we know I like creatures. I don't think I need to fight over this. They are empty. Oh, right, they draw a card with Bobble. Not quite empty. Land 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2. So I can Spreading Seas to cantrip, and then also Wandering Emperor and Counterspell. Storm Giant Hall, okay. Is this worth a Counterspell? Probably. You know what? No. Fuck it. I'll go after the payoff. If there's something that I need to counter in this expressive iteration, then I would... I'm trying to think of how this works. All right. They can have that because Celestial Colonnade beats it. And then I'm going to Emperor in the end step, who can make a 2/2, which will become a 3/3 first strike and just push into DRC. I lose the ability for this to be a removal spell. Okay, this is what I'm here for. That is their last card in hand. They lined up this Counterspell turn. Time to use it. I should have technically waited for the Surveil to resolve. So they, when they make the decision about whether to keep the card or not, they know if Wandering Emperor is in play. I'm gonna start pushing. Maybe I'm supposed to make the 2/2 there. They did keep the card off Surveil. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I shock in Hallowed Fountain, I can get Kaheera this turn and still activate Celestial Colonnade. But I think I'd rather have Hall of Storm Giants. I just made the decision to go face, and let's continue punching said face. Fiery Islet gets a card. Unholy Heat is a problem. That kills my Celestial Colonnade. They kept that card also. They surveilled twice, kept both the cards. Yeah, troublesome. This has to attack, so the attack itself doesn't tell me anything. There we go. Please don't Unholy Heat me. I'm okay with Lightning Bolt even. Just make it be a 2-for-1, but don't give that sweet heat for free. Moment of Truth. All right, they're tapping mana. 1, 2, 3. Target player draws 2 cards. Okay, they're digging for Unholy Heat right now. Okay. What do we got? We got a block. I'll take the block. Thank you. Come again. And if they have Lightning Bolt to finish off Colonnade, then it's not getting pointed at Wandering Emperor, which is a deal for me. Oh, yeah. Shut her down. The fairy's here. Oh, Force a Negation, pitching Counterspell. Okay. They don't want to play against a fairy. Fair enough. Now what do I do with this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can activate Hall and crunch for 10. And then when they attack, they're just dead on the backswing. I could Colonnade plus Colonnade and get in for 8 and have a counter on Colonnade. And Wandering Emperor is not dead to a DRC attack. I could just minus go wide. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Activate 1. I'm still one short of getting Kaheera into play. All right, I'm just going into the Hall. 7/7 coming in. I'm gonna plus on Samurai Token. Then they can't trade for it, and Lightning Bolt doesn't kill it. And Wandering Emperor is not dead to an attack here. My opponent has to attack here. And they're at 8, which is very dead to my board. And their creature has to attack. They can't even leave it back to block if they wanted to. Expressive Iteration into Murktide Regent is kind of like what I'm worried about here. Okay, they did draw Murktide, but they didn't Expressive Iteration into it, which means I'm less worried about it. So they can take themselves off Delirium and leave the blocker back. Okay, they still have to attack. Were they unable to take themselves off Delirium? Oh yeah, there's just too many spells in the graveyard. Okay. They attack Wandering Emperor down to 1. I'm going to activate Hall of the Storm Giant plus counter on that, so it's an 8/8 first strike, which is a forced block with Murktide Regent, and then they go to 4. 7/7 creature. 8/8 first strike. Got a forced block, you go to 4. You get my Wandering Emperor, but she's done enough here. And play my land. Get Kaheera. You're up. Good luck, have fun. I have 3 different lethal attackers this turn. Their creature has to attack. This one card in their hand has to either deal 13 damage to me or kill or block 3 things. It's like they're just taking the moral victory of picking off Wanderer before they're dead. This land, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, activate. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, still 1 short, but we're going big wardy here. Here it comes. And they scooped it up. They just wanted to see if I saw the line of animate my creature again. I did. I'm paying attention. Supreme Verdict, Chalice of the Void, Relic of Progenitus. Kind of awkward with 2 chalices, but I do want it. Shark Typhoon, Mystical Dispute. Oh, Rest in Peace definitely plays here. Spell Pierce, Dovin's Veto. Looking at these as maybes, but probably not. I probably don't need Rest in Peace and Relic of Progenitus. That's overboarding, especially bringing in chalices. Like, it's bringing in a card that loses to my own chalice while not serving an additional function. Spreading Seas, not great here. Fire Ice is good, Teferi is good. I like Counterspell. Think Twice did work there. Bringing in Rest in Peace, so that makes Deluge a lot worse. It makes Think Twice a lot worse too. Okay, talk myself into it. Just limiting my exposure to graveyard stuff. Do I want to go 1 deeper on Think Twice to get my Spell Pierce in? That lines up poorly against my Rest in Peace. Or my my Chalice. I'm just saying random words right now. It's been a long day of recording. I'll bring in a Veto. I think that's better than a card that gets overlapped with my Rest in Peace or my Chalice either way. Like, Think Twice gets overlapped with Rest in Peace, and Spell Pierce gets overlapped with Chalice. They could just have a mono creature draw that Dovin's Veto doesn't find a target on, but there's also, like, worlds where they have some Planeswalker juke or something. Or on those clutch turns where it's like, please don't have Unholy Heat. I have an extra counterspell for that now. My hand's really good, though. I'm keeping this. 4 lands and Supreme Verdict. Done deal. With Shark Typhoon to speed bump along the way if I need to. A little worried about turn 1 Ragavan. Hope they don't have that. But they did keep 7. Their deck has Blood Moon in it. I will give it a small amount of consideration, but mostly not worry about it because I play a ton of basics. I'd be surprised if they brought it in, I guess. Bobbling, targeting themselves. Okay. There's a fetch land in their hand. That's why you bobble yourself. Firebluff Canal. Okay. Still have the read that there's a land in their hand, like land and 5 mystery cards. That's not a whole lot of information, but it's not nothing, so pay attention. Represent Counterspell. Now I actually have a white card to pitch to Solitude if I want to do that. I really didn't want to pitch my Supreme Verdict. I'm glad I didn't have to make any decisions around Ragavan. Didn't even show up. Okay, Shocking in Steam Vents. It's cool that I have Shark Typhoon, because if I didn't have Typhoon, then I would obviously have Archmage Charm, but doing something with 3 mana is, like, represents that maybe it's not Archmage's Charm, maybe he just wanted to cycle for 1. Like, if I just took 2, passed turn cycle, untapped without spending any mana, they would have been just like, oh, 100% Archmage Charm. Done deal. Okay, I think it's time for Celestial Colonnade, and I'm not attacking because of Ragavan. This 1 damage isn't going to make or break the game for me, but getting cracked with a Ragavan might. Like, if Rag connects and they flip it to Teferi, and then I just out of luck. Archmage Charm to draw 2. Okay, go for it. And they do have Unholy Heat. Okie dokie. With Prismatic Ending in my hand, I'm not going to spew off a Solitude on Ragavan this turn. ERC, okay. I'm going to try to Counterspell. Or, no. This is Murktide Regent. I do just have Supreme Verdict ready. Like, I could Archmage Charm here, get a Counterspell out of their hand for later, or I could just Supreme Verdict and save my Charm. I'm going to save my Charm. Ooh. That's a good card. 6, 7 damage. Now let's just jam it. Get him out. I wonder if Wafotapa would have drawn 2 cards there. Probably. DRC is back. Got answers to that. Oh, that's sick. I can Prismatic Ending this, and then Chalice on 1, and they're going to counter it, and then I Chalice on 1 again. Oh, are we fighting over this? Oh no, just getting some Surveil on the way through. Deal. And land. Chalice on 1. Counterspell. Oh, nope. We didn't have it. Okay, do I double up on Chalice on 1 here to play it around Brazen Borrower? Yeah, I guess. Another one. Maybe they just don't have a counterspell. They were just representing it, making me think about it. The level system of, do you think your opponent's going to play around counterspell or not? If they really don't have one, then this bluff was really solid, because I believed it since turn 1. If they cast Blood Moon here, if it's in their deck and they cast it, I'm going to fetch Plains, because having these Solitudes online is more important than this Charm. Okay, maybe this is what they're doing. They are saving their counterspell because to try to just get over the finish line with a Murktide Regent. They tap 2 mana, untap their 2 mana, then played a tapped land. What's going on here? Okay, it is big ol' Captain Mercs. Captain Merca. It's only a 4/4 though. Like, even if they do have counterspell for Solitude, I got action here. Oh god. And I have so many Solitudes. I'm going to Solitude in their upkeep. Oh, that turned on Archmage Charm. Maybe that was bad. I had to force them to have exactly counterspell if I do it on my turn. But Archmage Charm costs a lot of mana. Okay, they did have counterspell. So that read wasn't wrong. They just don't care about Chalice of the Void as much as I thought they would. That's fair. I hope this EI is just 3 1-drops. Just Ragavan, DRC, Lightning Bolt. Count it. If they pass the turn without representing counterspell, I'm going to feel really good. And if they have a land, I'll still be unexcited. Oh wow. They exiled Expressive Iteration. That's crazy. Like, just trying to think of what card goes in your hand here that's better than Expressive Iteration. Maybe they already had the land, or they already had the land and they just found Counterspell. I would take Counterspell over EI here. Oh. Ooh. This is really aggressive. I don't think I like it. This is just, you've already played your land. You're just locked into this being Anticipate. Tapping out when you could have represented Counterspell. I don't know. I don't think I like that. They just exiled a Flooded Strand that they could have played if they waited. And Force of Negation does not interact with Solitude. I had more than one of this. Murktide's out. They have the third one. Oh, Jace. Yeah, that's a good card too. That is the type of thing I was worried about going along. You probably want to bounce Solitude here. Unless they have Brazen Borrower. Okay, just into Brainstorm mode. I like that. They can't have very many 2-mana answers to a Solitude, and now I can just attack Jace. If they find Murktide Regent, I can Solitude that and kill Jace. Oh, this is something. And I just untapped into Archmage Charm, so I think Jace is disappearing. They don't have enough mana to Otawara me right now. Moment of Truth. What do you got? You got a dead Jace. Okay, wow. All right. Was not expecting that to go how it did. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I actually could have animated Celestial Colonnade just to get extra in there. Charm to draw 2. I think leaving up Solitude and Charm is probably better than attacking. I'm not going to pretend I made that choice consciously. I just forgot that I had a creature land. Stick Gate. Attack with Solitude. I'm just going to take my time on this one. Once again, I sit here wondering if Wafotapa would have drawn 2 cards. Get my Kaheera. Not going to tap out of my answers here. No rush. Gaining life, pulling ahead. The next crack will put me in the lead. I'm going to fetch a basic right now. Or I guess Hallowed Fountain makes more sense. I think I can stop worrying about Blood Moon. That's a good one. Then white. Here's Kaheera. Subtlety. That's fun. I'll fetch in response and put Plains into play, and then sure, you can Subtlety me. I'm gonna put Kaheera on the top. Keep these threats coming. I'm gonna attack here. this thing, Solitude, just trades with Subtlety, so that was a 2-for-1 that gained me 9 life and dealt 6 damage to my opponent along the way. They have to be about out of lands in their deck. They're also at 7 minutes on their clock, which I love. And guess who's back? Okay, Kaheera's in play. I'm leaving up answers rather than getting in with Colonnade. Rest of Iteration, they have 1 more of those in their deck after this one. Exiling Murktide Regent. That's pretty good. Murktide Regent's in play. They have 5 cards in hand. Force of Negation is a card that's in their deck. They might just have to Supreme Verdict here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Oh, sick. Or I could just draw this stupid Planeswalker. Force of Negation. If I Archmage Charm back, they do have some number of cards. My life total's pretty high. I think I can afford to try to win this counter war. I'm playing around Mystical Dispute here. They can't cast Spell Pierce. If they 2-for-1 themselves for a second force. Okay, they did have the Counterspell. That's alright. Bye, Teferi. You tried. I will go to 9 life off this attack. Next turn I can attack. I have Supreme Verdict when it's necessary. They didn't play a second Murktide pre-combat. That's good news. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I can try Solitude and then Supreme Verdict if it doesn't work. Here's Solitude. Just in there. Awesome. That's why I like hitting land drops. I would have had to Supreme Verdict, then I don't have Solitude, I don't have Kaheera, but instead, 2-for-1. And I'm holding up Cryptic Command. Life is good. Another Murktide Regent. I'm going to counter and bounce my Solitude. I feel like they would have counterspelled last turn, unless they drew one right now. Okay. All right, they had Force of Negation on the hard cast. Fair enough. This thing's a 5/5. Archmage Charm. I can draw cards and see if I find another answer to this. I think that sounds good. Not how Mystic Gate works. Target player draws 2 cards. I choose me. If I find like Teferi or something that can clear the Murktide and let me keep my creatures. All right, another Force of Negation. Fair enough. I'm going to YOLO Yeet attack here. Do I even need to do that? Can they attack? Like, if they attack me for 5, I go to 4, and then I crunch back for 8 and 4 of its lifelink. 5, 6, 7, 8. Even if they have another Murktide Regent, I've answered 1, 2, 3. Oh, they're all accounted for. Okay. I'm actually just going to pass here. I think my lifelink is better than their dragon creature right now. I'm taking effectively 1 a turn, and they're taking 8 a turn. I win that race. Especially if Celestial Colonnade gets involved. Oh yeah, Teferi, baby. Okay, here come my Vigilance creatures with lifelink also. Is this an elemental? Holy shit, it is. Wow, that just trades with Murktide, actually. If I decide that's where I'm going with this. Alright, Teferi, you got any counterspells left? They don't have any counterspells left, and they hit the concede button. Okay, that was sick. This deck feels like it's just built to farm. Is it Murktide? Ooh, that was tough. But guess what? Breakfast is served. Bread and butter 4-1. This deck did feel really good. I think that the modern brewers have tapped into whatever the balance is, because every other time I've tried blue-white and modern recently, it's like the deck doesn't have enough white sources, or not enough lands, or too many counterspells, or too many removal spells, and it just doesn't line up right. I think that there's a lot of smart deck building things going on here, like 1 Chalice instead of 4, 1 Wandering Emperor, 1 Deluge. Like these 1-ofs that I called out in the deck at the beginning make a lot of sense. So you're not clogged up with bad cards in matchups you don't want them. Think Twice was really elegant. Just something to do with your mana, card advantage over time. This deck felt pretty solid. I would still rather have Thoughtseize in my deck in a modern tournament than Solitude, but this deck is totally defensible, very good. Obviously, I pulled it off of the top 4 decks from MTG Goldfish. Like, you don't need me to tell you what the metagame data already bears out, but my experience with it was much better. I was a little skeptic going in, but I do like this spread. The numbers all felt good. The sideboard felt good. and we just add game against basically everything. Tom, thanks for asking me to go down this modern control rabbit hole. It was very nice. A smooth little 4-1 with blue-white control. Feels good. BoshNRoll classic. Everyone else, thank you for watching. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out the Patreon, check out the merch, and I'll see you next time.